This is my Quebec City, your stories. As the saying goes, there are two guarantees in life, death and taxes. But there's a third. For the first 18 or so years, we're all students. Some of us even attend school outside our first language. Ophélie, a Quebec City native Francophone, has done hers in English, and it's been an eye and door-opening ride. So, Ophélie, what's your story?
Hi, my name is Ophélie Bernier. I'm a student at St. Lawrence and I did my high school at QHS.
Welcome back, by the way, because you hosted your own episode of this podcast a couple of years ago in the 50 Plus series, which is where high school students interviewed people 50 years and older. How was your experience doing the episode with Susan about Y2K?
Yeah, so it was actually Ed Sweeney who's really implicated in that Anglophone community who asked me and a couple of other students to take part in this project. And I kind of just said yes because it was interesting. And of course, I had never done anything like that. And I didn't know the person who I was interviewing at all, but she turned out to be this really amazing person who had lots to tell about that Y2K experience. She actually worked in the IT during that. So she was explaining how people at work were going crazy, everyone was stressed. It was interesting because I didn't see that at all. I was born 7 years later. So I even talked about it to my parents and they were telling me yes. I remember vividly that people were stressed and people were freaking out. So it was fun to get that kind of perspective because I wasn't there.
Back then, I was just a bit younger than you are now. And I'll tell you, between no social media, cell phones being barely a thing, dial-up internet, the Gen Z mind could not comprehend.
Exactly. I grew up with devices. I grew up with the iPad in my hand. I never knew a time before phones.
Currently, of course, you're at St. Lawrence. But when you think back to your time at Quebec High School, what are some of your favorite memories?
So actually, I love QHS. The teachers are amazing. Mr. Chan and Miss Bourbonnais and Miss Marsh are three teachers who organized this program called the Outdoor Ed program, where they take 12 students of Sec 4-5, 6 Sec 4s, 6 Sec 5s, and they go on camping trips all throughout the year. They lend equipment to the students, and the trips are really not expensive, so it's kind of an opportunity for everyone to take part in that. And it's really fun, so you learn how to take care of yourself while you're out in the outdoors. And my favorite trip that we did was probably the one in Gaspésie. It lasted 4 days, and we went up Mount Hogsback and plenty of those, and it's just the bonds you make with not only the people you meet, because you're not necessarily close with the grades above or below you. Of course, QHS is a small school, so you kind of already know each other, but the bonds you create are really fun because you spend 3 days with no phones, no devices, no watches or anything, and just get so close. And with the teachers too, you make a real bond.
Thinking back to when you were younger, what was it like going to school in English, but then being home and speaking French with your family? Did that take a while to get used to?
Well, I do have an older sister who is 5 years older than me. So before I went to pre-K at St. Vincent's, she was already attending St. Vincent's. So she was already speaking English with her friends. And my dad, my sister, and my mom, before I was born, lived in Minnesota for my dad's work. So they do have a little bit of an English background, if you could say. But definitely the transition, I remember, I was really young, but I still remember between French and English in pre-K was difficult because I didn't speak English at all. But as time went on, my sister and I started speaking English together at home. But definitely with my Francophone friends that I had made and the friends that I had outside of that Anglophone community, it was different saying that I was from English school because that's not something that's familiar to them. So it's kind of like developing two different sides of my life because, we do mix, but they're two separate communities. I love having that mix. It opens so many doors.
Absolutely it does. Can you explain Cégep? Because it's very unique to Quebec as a mandatory transition between high school and university. Just the format, etc.
Cégep is, you have different types of programs. It looks like high school a bit, but a mix with university because you have a set schedule that they give you per semester. And the different programs are social science, business, and science. And I'm more familiar with science because I'm part of the science program. And then you have different profiles like health and pure and applied. And I'm in the health program, so it's more like bio and chemistry. But it's 2 years and you're surrounded by people who work hard. That motivates me to work hard as well.
How about student life on campus? Clubs, activities, sports, things like that?
St. Lawrence is quite a small cégep. We're only about 1,000, I think, in the school, whereas Sainte Foy, they're like 10,000. But there's quite a lot of student life, and I think that's part of kind of the Anglophone culture to have that much student life. We have an amazing student association called the SLCSA. They plan events for us, and outside of school and in school, they bring us like treats every now and then. We also have a bunch of other clubs like photography, multicultural club, and different sports teams. You have lots for the small cégep that we are.
What about you? What do you like to do?
Well, I'm often in the library, but just having those spaces that are open to students. There's plenty of spaces in St. Lawrence where you can just hang out or just study together, which is really great, like the library. There's also like the workshops. Those workshops are a nice place to hang out with your friends, but also I just want to talk about the teachers because they're always there to help us.
After St. Lawrence, for university, you have a pretty cool plan. You want to help the animals.
Yeah, right now I'm really set on going to vet school, I think. The only university that offers it in the province is UDM, and it's in Saint-Hyacinthe because you have to have access to like the big animals. So of course it can be in the city, it's in the suburbs. Of course there are only 50 places per year, so it's quite difficult to get into. It's quite a competitive program, but I love working with animals and I like working with people. So I think that's a nice blend for me because I get to have that human contact with the parent of the pet, but I also get to have the contact with animal. I mean, moving out is going to be interesting. My sister moved out after cégep. She's in Montreal, and she seems to be having the time of her life. So I guess discovering something new is going to be fun as well.
Oh, 1,000%. Okay, so whether it's going to school in a different language, or even just the transition from high school to cégep, what advice would you have for people in your situation?
I think that transition from Sec 5 to Cégep is a hard one, especially, well, Sec 5, of course, is an emotionally packed year because you've been there for the past 5 years, and the bond you make with the people in your grade, you get so close, even if you're not necessarily from the same places. And so that definitely was hard for me, and I think it would be hard for anyone. But the people you meet also, and the life you make later when you either move out or you go to a new school, it's like a new step. You meet new people and new experiences, and just life moves on. So of course you're always going to reminisce those moments that were amazing back then, but you just have to remember that you're going to make new ones, and life is just going to keep moving on. Just enjoy the moment.